Hey Professor, I really despise school politics. Okay, so, on Friday, me and Tracy went to try and uncover the mysteries of last week's events. And by that, I mean we went to Professor Dumbledore's office and asked why Sam got suspended. It was actually really anticlimactic. We were able to get into the office and ask the question and get a reasonable answer without too much resistance. But then, well, we were given a little speech about how they're tightening the rules this year and they're not just going to let things slide because of the reasons behind the actions like they have done before. And it was all really convincing. Merlin, even I was convinced. But I still had to point out a tiny flaw in their argument. Look, even Hogwarts history says that suspensions are just a formality. It explicitly says it. It's not ambiguous, you don't have to infer anything, it bloody says it. Suspensions are just meant to go on a nice little form of available Hogwarts punishments, when in actuality the student should probably be expelled. But of course, you know this. I've already said it. Multiple times. Once to Professor Dumbledore. Honestly, if something has to go on a student's permanent record that will make getting a well-paid career impossible, then what's the point of keeping them in school? I mean, they must have done something pretty awful to get suspended in the first place. And by taking away something to aim for, you're just opening the door to trouble. I am very proud to say that made Professor Dumbledore speechless. For about 10 seconds, but still, I'm pretty sure that goes down in history. Tracy did say afterwards it was a really impressive speech. Anyway, after that 10 seconds of proud silence, Professor Dumbledore told us something that was, well, it was bittersweet. Yes, they're tightening the rules and they should enforce what they've set out to do. That's fair when implemented properly. But Professor Dumbledore said that the students wouldn't take notice of the stricter rules and would just continue their behaviour like always. And unfortunately, Sam was the first student to discover that this was the case. That things were changing. It's funny that. Kind of makes it sound like, Sam's situation has been turned into a message for the entire school. I mean, it wasn't said like that, but when me and Tracy deciphered it when we left the office, I realised it was 100% true. I thought the great Albus Dumbledore was against all of this greater good nonsense. I thought he wouldn't let one person suffer just because everyone needed to get a message. I thought he trusted people to do the right thing. Trust me, this is not as angry as I was on Friday when I found out. I didn't understand why trust couldn't have been used. Why an urgent message needed to be delivered immediately. But hey, all in good time. Because, like I said, it's bittersweet. We've had the bitter, and it is bitter, but we still need the sweet. Well, since suspensions aren't technically a proper Hogwarts punishment, and it was just a formality, this isn't going on Sam's permanent record. Sam's future hasn't been ruined because of this, and nothing too bad has happened because of the whole ordeal. Things are starting to look up. Kind of. Look, I'm trying to be optimistic here. I mean, Sam still hasn't been told about any of this, which is ridiculous. Should have been told almost as soon as the suspension was given. But I'm not gonna lie and say I'm not totally excited to be the one to share that good news. I mean, can't break any kind of rule since, you know, on the brink of expulsion and everything, but hey, it's still good news. Anyway, after all this, the anger, the relief, all of it, I still had one question. Tracy did too, we just both forgot to ask. We'd had a lot of information in 30 minutes, alright? We needed time to process. What we wanted to know was why now? Why tighten the rules now? And why go to such drastic measures to ensure that they're upheld? Well, the answer was actually really obvious. We've just been a little bit blind. My eyes were opened yesterday though when I walked up to the Ravenclaw common room and I saw everyone gathered around the notice board. When I finally got to the front of this crowd, I found out that we would soon be playing host to Bobatons and Durmstrang for the Tribes tournament. And by soon, I mean Friday. Isn't it wonderful that the teachers are trying to keep us in line, keep us on our best behaviour, just for our guests? It stops me being angry, you know? Seriously, Professor, this is ridiculous. Students should not be used as pawns in this kind of chess game. That is all.